So, the first important cycle that we are going to discuss is the carbon cycle. Now, carbon, as we all know, is backbone of the earth, and it is found in every living thing. We are made of carbon, we eat carbon. That means all the products that we eat has carbon in it. And how can you make out? If you eat something and it is left over, you just leave it outside for some time, you will find that it starts getting black and carbon starts getting collected on it. Even if you keep your book for some days unread in a moist place, you will see that carbon starts accumulating in it. So we have carbon in our body and we are built on carbon. Our homes, our transport, our economies, everything is dependent on carbon. Carbon, though, is found in very less amount in the atmosphere, but it is a really important gas. So, carbon is a part of even oceans. It's part of air and even the rocks. The most important carbon in the rocks is coal, but in other rocks also carbon is found. If you have to find out age of anything on the earth, you can see its carbon amount. More the carbon, older the thing. So if you have any place, anything decayed in the earth, that starts accumulating carbon inside it. But carbon doesn't stay at one place. It is on move. And that is what the carbon cycle is about. In atmosphere, carbon is attached to oxygen. That is why it is called as carbon dioxide. Plants use carbon dioxide from sunlight to make their food, and carbon becomes part of plant. And then, when plants decay, this carbon goes into the soil. If trees decay, carbon converts into coal. So, let's see this diagram which explains carbon cycle. So, here during the photosynthesis, carbon present in the atmosphere is taken by the trees. Now, the trees decay, die, the leaves fall down, branches fall down, and that all again makes the carbon reach the surface of the earth. Roots of the trees also give out carbon which goes into the soil. When animals, human beings die, our dead bodies also get decomposed and carbon is released. So every living thing which gets decomposed, it leads to formation of carbon. Now this carbon is taken by human beings, taken out and used in factories. We release carbon to the atmosphere and it goes back to the atmosphere. So this movement of carbon from one sphere to another, from plants to the soil, from animals to the soil, from soil back to the factories, and from factories back to the atmosphere is called as carbon cycle. Let's have a look at this video.
Throughout Earth's history, carbon has cycled naturally between the ocean, the biosphere, and the atmosphere. This continual cycle regulates the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. CO2 and other greenhouse gases mix easily into the global atmosphere and act as a kind of blanket to trap some of the radiation reflected from the Earth's surface. This greenhouse effect keeps the planet much warmer than it would otherwise be, allowing for life on Earth to flourish. For the past few 100,000 years, the natural carbon cycle has been in balance, keeping the concentration of atmospheric CO2 more or less constant. But with the Industrial Revolution, humans began to dig up and burn huge amounts of fossil fuels. This long-buried carbon that would have taken millions of years to enter the atmosphere is now being suddenly released in a geological instant. Together with deforestation, this has upset the natural balance of the carbon cycle. Over the past 150 years, the concentration of atmospheric CO2 has risen from 270 to 400 parts per million. The higher this concentration gets, the greater the greenhouse effect becomes. As a result, the planet is warming, and the Earth's surface and the ocean are heating up. This is already causing our climate to change. Unless we rapidly reduce our carbon emissions, we risk seeing more extreme weather events and other dangerous events.